Do you ever wonder how professional distance runners make it look so easy, running incredible paces mile after mile? In this video, we'll go over some of the fundamental components that go into the weekly training and how it sets them up for success when they hit the start line. I have chosen 3 components that seem to be prevalent through the training of athletes at different levels in their careers. To give you some examples of these fundamental components, I will use 3 athletes and their weekly training logs. The first one will be Gressier from France, who has recently broken the European 5K record in Monaco with a time of 13 minutes and 12 seconds, and also ran an impressive half-marathon debut in Paris by clocking a time of 59 minutes and 55 seconds to take the final spot on the podium. The second athlete I will use, who will also have one of the most insane training schedules you will see out there, is Levins from Canada. In his most recent performance at the 2023 Tokyo Marathon, Levins would break his own Canadian record and in the process breaking the North American record as well, finishing 5th in a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Third and final athlete is considered the greatest marathon runner of all time, Eliud Kipchoge. His last race was at the 2022 Berlin Marathon, where he would break his own marathon record by 30 seconds to lower it down to 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds. Kipchoge will be making his debut at the Boston Marathon as he looks to make it his 5th World Marathon Major, as he looks to complete his quest of winning all 6 majors. These 3 athletes all have the training methods and ideas of what works best for them as they continue to push their boundaries. Even though they all come from different locations, 3 components seem to be very similar in all of their trainings. Let's get into the first one. Number 1. Run slow to run fast. Each of these athletes are known for pushing themselves to paces that seem almost impossible for everyday runners. You might be asking yourself, how does running slow make these athletes so fast come race day? The goal of training is to improve oneself through the training block to get ready for race day. These 3 do a lot of easy running more than you expect. The concept of running slow to run fast is valued by the GOAT himself. Eliud Kipchoge, for example, runs 80 to 85% of his mileage in the aerobic training zone. For someone who puts in 200 to 220 kilometers a week of training, that means 160 to around 180 kilometers are ran at a relatively pedestrian pace of 4 minutes to 5 minutes per kilometer. For those that use miles, 125 to 137.5 in weekly mileage, meaning 100 to 110 miles, are at easy pace running. All of this low intensity training is what drives adaptations that make us better at endurance running, even when our goal is higher intensity, such as Kipchoge's 2 minutes and 50 seconds kilometer pace for a marathon. Gressier, who isn't training for any marathons as of yet, can be seen training in a very similar way. In a training block, 3 weeks prior to his European 5K record, his training log has a lot of easy running. Out of 12 sessions in that week, 8 or 75% of them were at easy running pace. Go to show that even someone who is training up to a half marathon race is also following the run slow to run fast concept. Lastly, Levins, the person from this group who, believe it or not, has the most mileage in a week out of these 3, ranging up to 290 kilometers or 175 miles, also runs most of his miles at an easy effort pace. For example, 3 to 4 times a week, he would do triple runs at an easy effort pace, going 90 minutes, 80 minutes, and 70 minutes. Add those 3 runs all together in one day, and he is running a total of 240 minutes, which equals 4 hours of easy aerobic running in one day, times 3 or 4 times a week. Levins puts in a ton of aerobic training, which has really changed his running career as he just ran an incredible race in Tokyo. Number 2. Running twice a day is essential. Everyday average runners will be content and happy just to get 1 run in for the day. However, professional distance runners put in multiple sessions a day to build mileage. Kipchoge and Levins are both marathoners who take their training seriously and stay very disciplined week in and week out. Gressier isn't training for the marathon distance. However, he also includes double runs through his week of training. Kipchoge does 2 runs a day except for Sunday, when he takes the afternoon off. Jimmy does doubles 4 and 5 days a week that allow him to work his aerobic capacity more compared to if he just ran once a day. Cam Levins has a unique training schedule and one of the most intense. I would warn you to not try this at home because his training is crazy. Like I mentioned earlier, 3 to 4 times a week, he puts in 3 runs a day.
Not 2.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2.
2 to 3 times a week include double workouts with about 10K of quality each. Then just one day of the week, he gives himself an easy effort run of about 90 minutes. Gressier had a volume week of 176 kilometers 3 weeks before the Monaco 5K. Kipchoge averages 200 to 220 kilometers a week during his marathon training. And Levins averages 170 to 180 miles a week training for the marathon. 3 different training plans, but they all include double runs and even 3 runs a day for the Canadian marathon record holder. Double runs are an essential. Number 3. High altitude training is key. Kenya and some of the neighboring countries in Africa have produced some of the best distance runners this world has ever seen decade after decade. Kenya specifically is home to the greatest marathoner of all time, Eliud Kipchoge. Jimmy Gressier goes to Kenya to get training done for the benefits of high altitude training, and the same for Cameron Levins, who has also spent time training in Kenya. Eldoret is 2,000 meters above sea level and is where Kipchoge puts in his work to be able to come down to sea level and breathe with ease. Jimmy Gressier has done training blocks in Kenya to take advantage of the benefits of altitude training. He has also ran in Font-Romeu in France, which is at 1,800 meters of elevation. Since 2019, he has taken his training to the next level by putting in miles at these locations which have low oxygen levels, and when he comes down to race, he has acquired more red blood cells which allow his body to carry more oxygen than those that train at sea level. Cameron Levins has spent time in Kenya as well for training. His altitude training has come running in the streets of Kenya. Southern Utah, where the elevation ranges from 5,700 to 11,000 feet. And from his spare bedroom, where he has set up an altitude tent to get his miles on the treadmill. All 3 of these professional runners have put in their time at high altitude and benefited from the effects. So, if you ever want to take your running to the next level, high altitude training is key. To recap, the 3 fundamental components that professional distance runners seem to incorporate into their training are run slow to run fast, double runs to build high mileage, and high altitude training. Everyone has their own ideas on training, and not one specific way of training is going to work for every runner, so you have to learn what works best for you to progress in your fitness level and the goals you set for yourself. Professional distance runners are the best in the world because they dedicate their everyday lives to the sport and enjoy the process of improving themselves. So to conclude, unless you have experience in running high mileage and understanding how taxing all of it could be on your body, I would suggest to not try this at home. Leave it to the professionals who have years of experience experimenting with all sorts of workouts and training methods. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, which really helps the channel. Subscribe if you would like to continue watching more running videos like this one, and turn on notifications to be alerted when a video is uploaded. As always, I'll see you in the next one.